Two, if your contract reflects that. And if you would like to amend it, call in after this.
Things just took a wild turn over at the Joe Budden podcast. Joe straight up snapped on Melyssa Ford, threatening to fire her right on air. And it's all because of some messy Drake drama. Drake name-dropped Melyssa in one of his tracks, sent her flashy gifts, and even pulled up unannounced during a taping of the show. Joe? He wasn't having none of it. That man looked furious. After a heated blowout caught live, Melyssa suddenly vanished from the show. Fired, suspended, walked out? Nobody really knows, but her seat's been cold ever since. And fans are picking apart every clue. And here's the kicker. Word on the street is that Drake might be stepping in like a hero, trying to save Melyssa. Now, that's a twist. Is Joe just being his usual intense self? Or is Drake actually out here trying to stir the whole pot? Let's break it down. So here's the deal. Joe Budden and Melyssa Ford been clashing, and yep, it's all boiling down to Drake. And when Joe started talking about the YouTube algorithm, that wasn't random. He was low-key warning her. Firing Melyssa could blow up online and possibly tank her whole media career. Savage, right? But real ones already saw this coming. The tension's been bubbling for a while now. It hit the fan when they clashed over a convo about men and women wasting each other's time in relationships. And that moment right there had fans raising eyebrows like, something's definitely off. Melyssa wasn't about to fake a smile and play nice just to keep the show running smooth. Nah, in the very next Patreon episode, she made a statement without saying a word. She sat there, stone-faced, giving side eyes and silence while Joe was talking. It was tense, and of course Joe wasn't feeling that vibe at all. He took it straight to the rest of the cast behind the scenes, laying it down like, get it together, or there's gonna be consequences. Then he doubled down and brought the whole thing up again right on the show. Bold move. But how did it get this messy? To really get it, we gotta rewind a bit. Drake just teamed up with Party Next Door for a joint album full of smooth, sexy tracks. And while that got buzz, one thing stole all of the attention, that track called Gimme a Hug. That's when things really started spiraling. Drake didn't just come for Kendrick Lamar on that new track. He threw shots at Joe Budden too, while gassing up his ex, Melyssa Ford. Yup, you heard that right. Melyssa and Drake had a little thing way back in the day, and now he's bringing it all back to the spotlight. Drake went full throwback mode, rapping, "Melyssa Ford, you a legend from the 6, hate to see you with a D-sucker." That line hit hard, and fans instantly knew exactly who he was talking about. It was messy, spicy, and bold. "I'm still processing," she said. "I'm just still processing. I mean, it's great. It's awesome. I mean, it's not the first time, though. It's not even the second. It's not even the third. But thank you. I don't know what he is trying to do." You could tell she was shook, flattered, confused, and maybe even a little thrown. Like, is Drake trying to stir drama or slide back into her life? Either way, it definitely lit a fire under Joe, and now the tension is through the roof. "I'm not in that man's mind. I don't know," Melyssa said. "I'll let you guys figure that out." Meanwhile, the guys on the show were convinced Drake was being slick and calculated with the shout-out. Some even thought he was trying to stir the pot and create tension between Melyssa and Joe on purpose. But here's the wild part. Drake wasn't done shaking things up. He actually interrupted a taping of the Joe Budden podcast and sent gifts to Melyssa. And when I say everyone in that room was stunned, the card didn't say Drake directly, but it read, "My favorite legend from the 6'6". Come on, who else would say that? And just to make it extra obvious, he sent them a bunch of Canada Dry sodas, like subtle but not really. That's classic Drake being petty and smooth at the same time. At first, the crew laughed off Drake's little stunt, but now it's feeling like they're all turning on Melyssa, especially Joe, and it's getting heated. The tension is way past subtle now. How do we know? Because Joe and Melyssa just got into a full-blown screaming match on air. It went from zero to chaos real fast. And the topic? Anthony Mackie's recent comments on American masculinity. During an interview, the Marvel star sparked serious convo when he said masculinity's basically gone these days. His exact words, "Masculinity is nowhere to be seen. He didn't really break down what his version of American masculinity looked like, but he made it clear it was different. Then he opened up about raising his sons, saying, "My oldest gets it, my 15-year-old. Once you get one that's right, he's going to straighten the other ones out." That's when Joe and Melyssa started clashing, and things got loud real quick. This wasn't just a disagreement, it felt personal. "They will always be men. That's just what it is," Anthony Mackie said. "Since they were 2 years old, every time I left for work, I'd tell my 15-year-old, 'You're the man of the house. Make sure the doors are locked, the alarm's on. You call or text me every night before bed and when you wake up, because we're men.'" Now, when the Joe Budden podcast crew brought this up, things got real loud in the studio. Joe came in strong, talking like his opinion was the final word. But Melyssa, she wasn't here for any of that. Instead of biting her tongue, she clapped back, hard. She spoke up and laid her feelings out clear. You could tell this wasn't just about the topic anymore. It was about power, respect, and not letting Joe bulldoze the convo like he usually does. Melyssa was trying to make one thing crystal clear. The reason so many people push back against the old school idea of masculinity is because in her eyes, it's been used as a cover for men to mistreat women. Straight up, she got personal too. She brought up her own experiences, real situations, to drive her point home. She wasn't just talking theory, she lived it. But Joe and the rest of the crew, they weren't trying to hear it. Instead of meeting her halfway, they zeroed in on what they felt was an attack on Black masculinity. You'd think Joe would take a breather, maybe reflect a little, but nah, he cut Melyssa off and launched into a whole speech about protecting the legacy of good Black men. He even dragged in that bear analogy again, claiming it erased all the positive work those men have done. And after that, Melyssa was ready for round 2, gloves off. But then Joe hit her with this line, "Just wait, don't get it, Mel." And that really got under her skin. You could see it all over her face. Safe to say, that day in the studio was anything but smooth. Tension was thick, and after that blowout, the vibe in the room, straight up awkward. Folks say the silence lingered for days, but while things were quiet in the studio, the internet was loud. The whole exchange went viral, with people saying they'd never seen anything like it before on the show. Some folks were calling it out for what they saw, unfair treatment. One person commented, "They be gaslighting the hell out of that lady, LMAO." Another wrote, "Joe Budden telling her we don't have to be hostile while he's yelling is wild." And it's not like this came out of nowhere. Melyssa's been struggling on the pod for a minute. She even snapped during a Patreon episode, calling out Joe and the crew for reusing a topic she already brought up. That frustration's been building. Tensions were running high, no doubt. Now, could Joe have handled the situation with a little more grace? Absolutely. But why didn't he? Well, word going around says Joe's heated, not just at Melyssa, but at the fact that Drake's out here making moves on someone from his circle. And what's making it worse? Melyssa didn't exactly shut it down. In fact, she looked like she was enjoying the attention, just like anybody might. And that's what's eating at Joe. Now, insiders are saying Joe's had enough of the Drake drama and is seriously thinking about cutting Melyssa loose just to put an end to the madness. And here's where things get suspicious. Melyssa was completely missing from the latest episode. Not a word from Joe about her absence. No, she's on leave. No, she'll be back soon. Nothing. Fans noticed, and many are convinced that silence says it all. To them, that's cold, hard proof she might already be gone. Whether Melyssa got fired or suspended, fans think it's already happened. And honestly, it wouldn't be that shocking, because Joe's pulled this kind of move before. Remember when he axed his former co-hosts Rory Farrell and Jamil Malclay live on the podcast? Yeah, that moment was wild. No warning, just straight up fired on air. So why'd he do it? A few reasons. First off, Rory and Mal tried to use the show as leverage to renegotiate their contracts with Joe. Not the smartest move, considering how serious Joe is about running a tight ship. They also wanted Joe to open up the books and let them audit the business side of things, but Joe wasn't ever going to go for that. And here's the twist. Rory later claimed that his patched-up friendship with DJ Academics might have also played a part in the fallout. So yeah, Joe has a history of cutting folks off when things get rocky. One thing's for sure, Joe Budden does not play when it comes to betrayal. Some fans have called him out for being a hypocrite, but he's not losing sleep over it. He even clapped back, saying, "Friend or not, I'm never funding someone's sabotage of me. That will never happen. I get far away from the threat. You can think peace until your face turns blue." When you step back and look at the whole picture, it's giving serious deja vu. What's going down with Melyssa? It's way too similar to what happened with Rory and Mal, only this time DJ Academics is swapped out for Drake. That upgrade in drama makes it 10 times messier. Is Joe going overboard? Yeah, probably, but you also gotta understand, he and Drake got real history, long-standing tension. Joe once called Drake a one-hit wonder, and Drake did not let that slide. Back in July 2016, French Montana dropped No Shopping featuring Drake, and Drake used the track to send a few lyrical jabs. "I'm not a one-hit wonder. They know all my stuff. You let me turn into the ninja you almost was." Then he doubled down with more shots live on stage. It's been smoke ever since. And that's not even the end of it. Back in July 2016, The Shade Room posted a wild video. Two fans were straight up chasing Joe Budden's car like it was a scene out of a movie. Real stalker vibes. Joe wasn't exactly laughing, but he kept it cool. He tweeted on X, "These are some of the greatest memes ever, but I truly hope you kids don't make running up to people's homes a thing. It's dangerous." But Drake, he was loving it. He went and followed one of those fans on Instagram after the video blew up. Total troll move, and you just know that rubbed Joe the wrong way. So yeah, after being publicly clowned like that, it makes sense that Joe's had this lingering grudge, but still, taking it out on Melyssa and possibly ruining her career, that feels like a reach, right? Or is it all part of some calculated move from Drake? Did he plan this chaos from the jump? What do you think? Is Joe about to cut Melyssa off for good? And is Drake really pulling strings behind the scenes? Let us know below.